Am I the Asshole filtered? Only the most interesting Am I the Asshole posts. There we go. Now we can get into some discussions. Only the most interesting. I don't want cut and dry situations. I want it to be like, I want to have some people get upset and disagree with me, even though I'm right. But then I do look at the top post here, and it says, am I the asshole for calling a pregnant woman an incubator and refusing to talk to her? I will also say, as I open this up here, I have an ad. This is the weirdest ad I've ever seen. It's time. Stay connected with Floyd Money Mayweather himself on OnlyFans? Is that what that website's for? Also, is that what Floyd Mayweather's doing now? Am I mistaken on what the website is for? Maybe yes, maybe no. It also gave me a HelloFresh ad, so things are all out of whack right now. Maybe it's my wife's way of telling me that my cooking isn't up to snuff. Anyway, am I the asshole for calling a pregnant woman an incubator and refusing to talk to her? Let's find out. I, 23-year-old non-binary, visited my family this summer. This is so long. Oh my God. My family and I are all vaccinated, so my parents wanted to hold a small 4th of July gathering. I can already tell where this is going, and I'm like, strap in. Okay, this is getting a little spicy. My family and I are all vaccinated, so my parents wanted to hold a small 4th of July gathering. Unfortunately, a couple who are openly homophobic, transphobic, and sexist was also invited. I came out to my parents as non-binary and bisexual last summer, but they don't really understand LGBTQ identities due to language barriers. However, I was hoping that coming out to them would encourage them to cut ties from this couple. Okay, so this is like, you can't pick your family. And this is already a tangled web that's being woven here. Lo and behold, the two showed up at the 4th of July gathering. The woman proceeded to ask nonstop about when I will be getting a boyfriend so my parents can have grandchildren. She firmly bases her whole identity around being a mother. She has 3 kids and is currently pregnant with another, and kept talking about how if I wait too long, I'll lose the chance to be a mother. She also implied that women's sole purpose is to birth and raise the next generation and that women who work are selfish. I became frustrated and blurted out, "Good thing I'm not a woman and that I don't ever want kids." She froze for a second, kind of looked me up and down, trying to see if I was obviously transitioning, and then left. Okay, this is the kind of thing where you're like, it's not my ideal of a good 4th of July. Feels like this would probably be a situation where you maybe start having your own gatherings and celebrations if this is going to keep happening. I was left alone for a couple minutes until the couple all came to confront me. I reiterated I was non-binary. Don't ask me about children. That seems completely fair. Then the woman tried to argue with me. So I turned to her husband and asked him, "Why is your baby incubator still trying to talk to me? Doesn't it have something else to be doing?" Honestly, kind of based. It's maybe not quite at the same level of the watermelon ass comeback, but if it's real, it's a little based. Everyone heard me say that, who hurried, and including my parents, who hurried over to see what was going on. I told them what happened, and I was tired of being bothered by their friends, then I left. After that, the party fizzled out. Yeah, I know what you're saying there. You're like, not only did I drop a sick comeback, but when I left, the party fizzled. If I'm not there, it's dead. I saw the way you snuck that in there. Is not only did I own them, but I also killed the party on the way out. My parents tried to apologize on my behalf, but the couple left almost immediately, and everyone else just trickled out because it was awkward. Previously, the woman has talked about how women should remain silent when there are men talking, so my reasoning is that I was simply using her own beliefs against her. I mean, it's if it's a shower comeback, it's a shower comeback. But I mean, she's got her there. If this really happened, she used the woman's own reasoning against her. She pulled the Ben Shapiro on her, without a doubt. My mother thinks that I'm the asshole for coming out during a party instead of keeping the peace when I know they are LGBTQ phobic. I would say that that is a pretty invalid reason. Calling the woman an incubator, maybe a little rude. Simultaneously, though, a little based. Sorry, that was my mistake. Calling the woman an incubator, simultaneously, while rude, kind of an own. Stressing a pregnant woman out, literally, you can't take responsibility for that. Take it from me. They get stressed out over everything. Oh, there's no dill pickle ice cream left over. Oh, this little baby inside of my stomach is kicking all my organs around all the time. Like, you can't help but stress them out from time to time. Now, I mean, this is getting into a verbal altercation. It's a little bit of a different story, but causing her to lose a friend. My sister thinks the incubator comment was hilarious, but thinks I'm an asshole for calling the woman an it. I don't want to misgender people, but it was the best way to get my point across to someone who thinks women are property. I don't know what to say about that one. But, I mean, it sounds like your sister is on the same level from a humor standpoint, at least, as you are. After a couple of days of fierce arguments in my parents' house, I returned home, but my parents keep blowing up my phone. I do think she deserved it, and it was the best way to get them to stop talking to me. I don't want to apologize. Am I the asshole? So this is... I like this thread, okay? You know why? Because it's spicy. It's controversial. My immediate hunch after reading this is not the asshole. If we take the story at face value, it seems like you tried to make it known you were not comfortable with the discussion that was happening. You maybe even specifically said, please stop bringing that up to me. Then they wouldn't, and, you know, they appeared, at least from your perception, to be rude. At which point, you delivered a nuclear-level insult that the person that was the architect of this, you know, interaction to begin with can't even argue with because it used their own logic against them. So I'm big into the not the asshole camp here. It sounds like you laid the groundwork, said, please stop talking to me about this, and then, you know, defeated them with facts and logic. Although I appreciate the support of everyone who said I was not the asshole. Oh no, now they're going to turn the tables on me. After some reflection and reading through this thread, I've decided to apologize to my parents for the blow-up, but not apologize to the couple. Based and reality-pilled, I accept that I was an asshole, even if justified. I recognize how my comments could have caused others to feel bad about pregnancy or family without context, and there was probably a better way to handle the situation. I was already dealing with other situations at the time, and it just exploded out of me. Taking the high road was the last thing on my mind after dealing with similar incidents politely in the past. Not the asshole at all. Like, this just very reasonable. Sounds like you're bringing much more decorum to this than the older couple did in the first place. You know, this is just a very normal way to respond to this. The final verdict is everyone sucks. Not the asshole 54%. Everybody sucks here, 37%. You're the asshole, 8%. I don't know why the verdict is everybody sucks here then. I feel like that's... you gotta work on their algorithm, but... Popular vote lost again. Yeah, it was those dang swing states, man. Florida voted for everybody sucks here. Stop the count. Dude, this is so much better. Like these ones that are a little bit spicy. Inevitably, one day it's going to lead to some controversy and I'm going to be annoyed and kill this segment forever. However, for the time being, I love it. Am I the asshole for telling my friend's wife to eat a salad? Say probably. Maybe she was just hungry. wife has a friend that she's had since high school. In high school, they were both around 105 pounds. I'm sure that this is what your wife has told you, but it's just very weird knowledge to know how much your wife's friend weighed in high school. That is, I have no information about what any of my wife's friends weigh to begin with, but the fact that they know what they weighed in high school and have used that in the first sentence is a little much. Anyway, just strange energy from the start. However, since then, the friend has gained an excessive amount of weight and is closer to 200 to 215. What are you, like one of those guys at the fair that guesses how much someone weighs just by looking at them? My wife is very health conscious and always works out, so even though she's in her mid-30s, she still looks around 19 to 20. And is very toned and fit and weighs only around 120 pounds. Why is it's so much focus on the numbers so far? I just don't know why you have to point out that your wife looks like she's 19 to 20. Anyway, anytime her friend sees her, she makes comments about my wife being too skinny and she needs to eat a burger. It bothers my wife and pisses me off when she does this. Well, we moved across the country years ago, so she only deals with it every couple years when she comes to visit. Well, the last time she was here, she wasted no time busting out the burger comments. After we picked her up from the airport, we stopped for lunch. As soon as we sat down, she pointed to the burger section and told my wife she should order something from there. As soon as she said it, I pointed out that they have several salad options and she should really consider ordering one. Now everyone is pissed. Am I the asshole? Okay. You don't look at the results yet. You got to give your own opinion first, okay? I do think, and I think this is where we might get into some disagreement. I think OP is the asshole, to be honest. Now, are they out of line? Are they wrong? I don't know. That's a little bit more, that's not the question, right? The question is, are they an asshole? What's an asshole? You know, kind of going over the top with a haymaker when you're in public and you're talking with your friends, you kind of just jab a little bit, you know? You don't go for the knockout that ends somebody's career. You just kind of try to wound their pride slightly and then, you know, make a joke at your own expense as well. Here's the thing. I feel like maybe the husband or the OP in this situation is like, my wife keeps talking to me about how annoying it is that her friend keeps telling her to eat a burger. However, it probably is worse for your wife that now you've made a joke at her friend's expense. So now the whole situation is awkward, whereas what could have happened instead is you just go, no, I think I'm just going to get a salad. She eats a burger, and then you go home and go, that was fun. I do wish she'd stop talking about the burger stuff, though. But I feel like there's a better way to solve this problem. You kind of got needled a little bit, just a little needling, and then you replied with like a hydrogen bomb. So I think that they're the asshole. Not a major asshole issue, but I think they're the asshole. But I do have to say, the final verdict, not the asshole, 45%. Everybody sucks here, 42%. You're the asshole, 10%. What the heck is... Oh, NaH is no assholes? Of course there'd be 0%. There's gotta be an asshole. I do think that this... Look, I can't necessarily suggest that I have data to back this up, but I think that my hunch is that given the demographics of Reddit, a guy landing what they perceive to be a justified ribbing at someone's weight, especially his wife's friend, probably inflates these numbers a little bit. Whereas in real life, I feel like we'd probably be a little bit... Honestly, I'm surprised that there's only 10% of people that are like, you're the asshole. Am I like the only? Well, no. I'm part of the 10%, I guess. But I didn't think that the proportion of people that understand this is so low. At home, you bitch about everything. I don't like this. I don't like that. Hey, yo, I had a great time at dinner. Did you notice what they ordered? Really? And then they scraped the stuff off? What are they doing? You don't get to... And then, like, the fact that you talk about that stuff in the privacy of your own home is one thing. But then to go out and be like, hey, how about you stop scraping the lettuce off your burger? You know, like that's just... You don't have to bring up every minor grievance that you have with everybody else. You know, you gotta keep some social decorum going. I'm realizing now that I'm... And the other thing is, the you're the asshole thing here is just the way he... I don't see why it matters that his wife looks like she's 19 to 20. I just find it an unnecessary comment that is... A normal unnecessary comment would be one thing, but it's just weird that he brings it up. It's like my wife, who looks 19, by the way. She looks 19, by the way. And she only weighs about 120 pounds. She only weighs about 120 pounds. Anyway, this guy's got triples of the Nova, for sure. No question. No, I'm doing React Court. Mm. Okay. Triples of the Nova. Am I the asshole for not wanting our house cleaner to clean her house 3 days before her due date when she needs the money? The other thing about these Am I the Asshole filtered posts is like they're so specific as to be very real. It's like normally you wouldn't be like... some of them are like, am I the asshole for punching a racist in the face? And you're like, no, of course not. And then these are like, am I the asshole for making a left turn on an amber light when the car in front of me was slow to go through and also it was raining on the... And you're like, okay, here come your eyes. Am I the asshole for not wanting our house cleaner to clean our... They're also so much shorter sometimes. Am I the asshole for not wanting our house cleaner to clean our house 3 days before her due date when she needs the money? You know what's funny is that just looking at this to begin with, I would have said, not the asshole. Absolutely not. When we had our first kid. But seeing how much more casual Sips was about having his third kid, and he was just like, he played Rocket League on Monday and then Gartic on Tuesday and then like Wednesday at 1 a.m. they had the kid. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I was a little bit... Maybe I was like a little bit more prepared for the baby than you necessarily have to be. But I think that's just how it goes for the firstborn anyway. Am I the asshole for not wanting our house cleaner to clean our house 3 days before her due date when she needs the money? Sometimes our SO hires a cleaning service for our home. The woman who owns it is in her third trimester and is due in 5 days. She was supposed to come today, but she texted us tonight apologizing because she was in the hospital. The cleaner is asking if she can come to work on Saturday. My significant other wants to take her up on this, but I'm vehemently against it. At the end of the day, it's the cleaner's decision on what she wants to do, and she has to do what is best for her family. I just don't feel right hiring her to work so close to her due date out of concern for her health. Have considered the idea of paying in advance, but that feels awkward. Edit. Will add that she does come with help, so she would not be alone to clean. I have no idea. You know what? I stole this from chat, but I think you're right. I think this is no assholes. I think this is a no asshole present situation. I also would feel weird about someone cleaning my house when they were 3 days before their due date. It's not really... Like, it's already awkward to begin with when you have somebody else clean your house, because you're like, either we're gonna leave or we're gonna stay there, and I always feel like they're judging me for not helping to begin with, but even though that's not the way it's supposed to go. So then add in the fact that the woman is 39.5 weeks out of 40 pregnant. Like, you're really gonna just sit on the couch while a woman that's 3 days away from having a baby cleans your whole house? I don't think so. That would make me uncomfortable. So I don't think the guy is necessarily the asshole for that situation. And I'm saying that not even like because of the fact that, you know, she could go into labor in your house. Like, you know, I mean, if her water broke while she was cleaning up, she's already got the mop out. So if anything, you're kind of getting two birds stoned at once. Moving on. That being said, I relate to this comment. However, it's very funny to me. Have considered the idea of paying in advance, but that just feels awkward. And I don't think it's that awkward. I think you could just pay her the advance and then move on. Like, if she needs the money, especially, you know, you got a relationship with the cleaning service, like, it's not awkward. Just, hey, here's your payment, and then you'll get me back when you... Like, what it actually sounds like is you're worried if you give her the advance that she's going to be like, psych! You're never going to see me again. But, this is just... there's not that much meat on the bone here. It's just, I mean, just give... I know what the road I'm going down here, but just give her the advance. She wants to work 3 days before the due date because she wants the money, not because she's like, I'm so passionate that even having a bowling ball inside of my abdomen is not going to stop me, right? It's not like she's doing it for the love of the game. So just pay her the advance and she'll get you back like 6 weeks later or something like that. It's like... It's I feel like the world is the asshole for her feeling compelled to do it to begin with, but you should. I think you pay. I think you came up to your solution. You know, you just pay the advance here. Take me back. Am I the asshole for asking my girlfriend not to rub her hairy leg against me when I'm in bed? Oh, this one's got it. You can tell to begin with this one's gonna be good. Because the headline is so vague, there's no way this person is not the asshole. Am I the asshole for refusing to inconvenience myself over someone else's problem? Most of the posts are like, you know, am I the asshole for punching somebody in the face? And then when they add context, you're like, not the asshole. This one is like... Am I the asshole for refusing to inconvenience myself over someone else's problem? You know this is gonna be fucked, man. Okay. Here we go. Recently, I moved into a new flat with a friend. We've looked into renting a flat specifically with a balcony because we are both smokers. To be honest, I'd probably be okay with smoking in my room. Okay. I don't think that's like why you have to get a balcony. Is because you're not okay with smelling the smoke that you make. I think it's because, you know, be that as it may about how Chad feels about landlords, I think they're more like, you know, we don't want the curtains to turn yellow. Regardless. I roll my own cigarettes. McBaron choice, if anyone's interested. Anyone? That don't have any horrid smell, but usually landlords forbid this, and I don't want to risk it. The flat is on a second flood out of 4. That's going to be important, though I guess just in a way that it's not the last floor. You're kind of the asshole for thinking that your cigarettes don't stink. And I don't mean that to be super anti-smoking, but I don't think I've ever walked by somebody smoking a cigarette and been like... Wow, that's good. What is that, lemon pound cake? For 2 months, everything was good and dandy, but yesterday I've had my first encounter with our upstairs neighbor. I went for a smoke after coming home from work around 2 a.m., and as I'm standing on my balcony, enjoying my last ciggy of the day, I hear someone going, "Good evening. Can you not smoke on your balcony?" I look above me a little bit confused and see someone sticking his head out of a window. It is so British. Good evening. In Canada, it would be, hey bud, can you not? And in America, I think you would already at this point have weapons drawn. Evening. And why should I not do it? The neighbor then started a rant about how the smoke goes up and into his apartment. Woke him up. How he's been patient for a while but now can't take it anymore. How he has a right to a healthy life and doesn't want my filthy habits to impact it, and so on. So a rant about how hot gases rise. He then suggests I should smoke in a kitchen or go completely outside because he doesn't like the smell. So you're saying I can't smoke in my apartment on the balcony because you don't like it? You mentioned you have a right to a healthy life. Don't I have a right to do with mine whatever I want? I didn't come to your home and start smoking after all. Can't you just close your window and move on? To which he replied, but it's hot outside. I don't want to close my window. Now at this point, I'm not confused anymore. Oh shit. Just startled from his sheer audacity. So let me get this straight. You don't like me smoking here at my place, but you don't want to inconvenience yourself by closing the window. Instead, you want me to do something differently, even though it's you who has a problem with how things are. That about right? Let me get this straight. I'm playing music at 200 decibels. You're choosing not to sleep with earplugs in, and it's somehow my behavior that's causing the problem here? I don't think so. That seems a little... Do I not have the right to do with my life whatever I choose? Instead, you want me to do something differently, even though it's you who has a problem with how things are? That about right? Yes. Well, okay then, I replied, and lighted another roll-up. La-da-da-da-da. It's the motherfucking D-O-double-G Snoop Dogg. I ignored his threats to pour cold water on me whenever I'm smoking. Since by the time I finished, he was still going on about pouring water, I simply said, yeah, you do that, and headed inside. So the question is, am I the asshole? Or is he just an entitled jerk after all? Look, TLDR, I appreciate that there's a TLDR. This is a good one, man, because this is a spicy one. My thought is heavily influenced by the fact here that I'm not a smoker, I'm sure. Smokers are not going to enjoy this. Personally, someone who's lived in apartment buildings, shared living situations, I would prefer if a smoker would go outside, if they would go, you know, away from the air intake valve or air intake grates. Yo, healthy gamer, thanks for the raid. We're looking at people's mental health on Reddit and judging it from a position of ignorance. And we're talking about cigarette smoking right now, so it's right on brand, I'm sure. Anyway, so for people that are just joining, it's an Am I the Asshole thread, and the thread is, who's the asshole? Someone who smokes on their balcony? Or the neighbor above them who gets annoyed by the smoke coming into their apartment? Personally, I'm being forced to take a stand for the first time ever. Usually I'm just on the right side of history. I'm on the side of the upstairs neighbor. Quite frankly. I think generally speaking, you know, smoking in a situation where the smoke goes through somebody's open window is not nice. Stinks up the place. Secondhand smoke is dangerous. I'm not even approaching it from the situation of like the same, you know, like, oh, so I don't have a right to smoke, but you have a right to keep your window open. It's not really like that. It's like, you know, you're on the second floor. Can't you just go outside and you know, like smoke it in the courtyard or something like that? That's my 2 cents on it. Or like live on the 4th floor. Close the window for 2 minutes? Hey, hey, bang, 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 it's 2 in the morning, bang, 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 can you close your window real quick? I just need to smoke a cigarette on my balcony. Then you can open it up after that. Like, that's just... I don't understand how you couldn't, like... Especially if you just got home from work. Why not just smoke it outside and then go inside and go to bed? Plus, this guy was talking about... He seems a little deluded to me to begin with, which is that he's like, you know, I should... I can just smoke it in my room to begin with because my cigarettes don't smoke regardless. So I kind of feel like he's not the best judge of whether or not his habit is inconveniencing other people. Like, I look at it kind of similarly to, like, loud music. You know what I mean? I forgot about the fact that it's scentless McBaron's tobacco. It's McBaron's Choice, if anyone's interested. One of the most smellless, smokeless tobaccos out there. But I look at it kind of like loud music, you know? It's 2 a.m. You're causing a disturbance with something that you want to do. Are there things that your neighbors could do to maybe mitigate the nuisance that it applies to them? Yeah, but at the same time, is it your neighbor's responsibility to make sure that you're not being a nuisance? I don't think so. But I think that there's going to be a lot of people with disagreeing opinions here. But I will also say, at least in Vancouver, this is already like codified into the bylaws. Like, we don't, most buildings, at least as far as I know, are supposed to be smoke-free to begin with. So when people smoke on their balcony, they legitimately get like a $200 fine from the building, like Strata Corporation, not from the police. So if you want to smoke, like, they want you to smoke outside here. So this is already, of course I'm like a little biased because this is already what it's like here. It's rare to begin with, for sure. Plus, the other thing is, and I'm not suggesting that this is what this person is doing, but, you know, when you're, like, under people that smoke, you don't get the smoke smell and the rising of it and stuff like that. But, you know, you get, like, ash blowing off their balcony and stuff like that, cigarette butts that fall from their balcony up to, or down to your balcony. Like, you know... That's not because they're smoking, it's because they're, like, you know, flicking their butts off the balcony and stuff like that, but still. Anyway, that's my thoughts. You get a little bit of the smoke, I suppose. Again, that's why I like it. It's controversial. By the way, I didn't look at the votes. You're the asshole 46%, not the asshole 41%. Everybody sucks here 5%. No assholes here, 2%. I will also kind of say, it depends on how you look at this, okay? I kind of feel like everybody sucks here. I don't think so. I don't really feel like the neighbor... Well, I mean, I guess the neighbor does suck for suggesting he's going to pour cold water on you. That's kind of a dick move. But I don't feel like the neighbor sucks for saying, good evening, could you not smoke on your balcony? It seems like a reasonable request you could say yes or no to. But then, no assholes. I'm like, I don't know. I kind of feel like OP is an asshole. Can I tell you why? And it's not fair. The fact that he keeps referring to his cigarettes as roll-ups tells me everything I need to know. It's the... I don't know. It's like the super, super libertarian argument of, like, am I not allowed to do anything that I ever want? And I'm like, no, of course not. I mean, I guess, like, you could literally do whatever you want, but, like, you know, if you drink 12 beers and then drive your car, you might go to prison or, like, die, you know? Of course, you can do just about anything, but you're not free from the consequences of those actions afterwards. What's next? A license to make toast in my own damn toaster? It's not the argument that I would use. If I were the smoker, the argument I would use is... Hold on, I'm trying to think about it. Is the balcony not an outdoor space? I think I would try to get into more of a discussion about the zoning. Does a balcony count as, you know, private property inside, or does it count as an outdoor space? I don't know, especially if you got concrete above you. I would get into the semantics. So I'm not a lawyer on Reddit, or in real life for that matter, but I feel like at the same time, you know, you could make a discussion there versus is man not entitled to the sweat of his brow? But I do also feel like your problem here could be solved by walking down one flight of stairs and then walking like 20 feet away from your building. So it's just my 2 cents, I suppose. Maybe that's a forehead moment, but FTL, man. Okay. Am I the asshole for honking at a pedestrian playing Pokemon Go in a crosswalk? It's gotta be a no. I feel like well, okay. I'm just gonna hit you with the Cliff Notes. There's a person crossing the road in the middle of the street trying to catch a Pokemon. I blew my horn, the guy turned and yelled, he's got 5 more seconds till the light changes. I yelled at him to stop playing in the street. My mom told me I'm the asshole because his light hadn't changed yet. Stopping in the middle of a crosswalk to catch a Pokemon, I'm gonna give you a turbo answer that you're not the asshole there. I mean, you're the driver's not the asshole, but we already know how I feel about jaywalkers, obviously. Was the person a kid? I don't think so. I mean, it's Pokemon Go. That's only played by 35-year-olds. I'm going top this month. I need to find some better answers. Am I the asshole for not rephrase. Oh my god, it's so long. This is the longest post I've ever seen. Am I the asshole for insisting that my brother and his girlfriend not wear gross clothes in my car? I, 28 female, have a very sensitive nose. I can't do perfume. I tell guys not to wear cologne on a date. I can't be around cigarette or pot smoke or I start gagging. Another reason, perhaps, that the guy from the last post was maybe a little bit of a YTA. My whole family knows this, and for the most part are very supportive. This weekend, my brother called me up at 2 a.m. Always at 2 a.m., right? Because he and his girlfriend had missed the last train out of the city because they met up with some people at a bar and wound up going back to their place for a bit. He asked me to come get him. My apartment is 40 minutes outside the city, and our parents, who he lives with, are about an hour away. Already, he's the asshole. Were you asleep at this point? Because I feel like if you don't plan for a way to get home and you have to rely on somebody like calling your sister at 2 a.m., that's a big ask. I think you got to get an Uber. I told him to get an Uber because if they reeked of alcohol, cigarettes, and weed, I didn't want them into my car. He said it would be too expensive, promised they didn't smell, and begged me to come. I mean, like, this feels so much like the last one. They're like, I've been doing stinky things all night. Do you stink? No, obviously not. Come on. You can't smell anything. You were at the bar at last call. It's a wasteland in there. I told him as long as they don't smell, I'd come get him, but that I was prepared to leave him if he did. Okay, I can see where this is going. I get to the address. About an hour later, they came out. It was clear they were both drunk. My brother went to hug me, and I could immediately smell weed on him. I started retching, told him it wasn't going to work, and to call an Uber. We showered. There's no way you're smelling anything. It's all in your head, he said to me. Apparently, their solution was to shower in these people's apartments, thinking it would get rid of the tobacco and weed smell on their clothes. I told them to call an Uber and got back in my car. He banged on the window. I told him he wasn't getting in my car like that. I told him I'd give him half the money for an Uber, and I was leaving. Oh, no. He told me to just roll the windows down. I told him I don't want it in my car. He said, I showered. These are the only clothes I have. I can't ride home naked. That gave me an idea. I opened my trunk, grabbed two blankets and 2 trash bags. I told them to put their clothes in the bags and cover up with the blankets. His girlfriend handed it back and said, fuck that, I'll walk, and walked away. are real human beings that live on planet Earth? Do you ever just read these posts and go like, my life is so simple? Like, I'm deriving so much contentment right now just from realizing I have never put myself into this situation. It's just, it's so complicated just to get home. Couldn't you just sleep at your friend's place and then at like, 8 in the morning take public transit back? Instead of getting naked and driving home in a garbage bag? My brother told me I was out of my mind. It was all in my head. I reached into my wallet, pulled out $50 and said to call Uber. He handed it back, told me to hold up, and ran after his girlfriend. They came back and asked if they could sit in the back with the windows open. I told them I wouldn't be able to stand it for an hour. So they begrudgingly stripped, put their clothes in the bags, and I tied them off and threw them in the trunk. I drove them to our parents' house in silence and dropped them off without a thank you. My brother's girlfriend unfriended me on Facebook. He and she are not speaking, and my mom is furious, saying I embarrassed them and I was being overly sensitive. She says I should have called her so she could have gotten them. My mom goes to bed at 9, so I don't think she would have been thrilled. I feel bad that I put the condition on it, but I would not have been able to tolerate being in my car otherwise. Okay. We need to look at the edits first. My reaction to smell is very extreme. I retch, I gag, I throw up, my eyes water, my stomach churns, I get migraines, my heart races. I believe you. If this whole post is real, I believe this part too. I think, you know what it is? I think it's like, it's debate class. You have to acknowledge like shared truths as the foundation for the argument, okay? I'm taking OP at face value that if they smell cologne, they gag. Now, if I was in public and someone started gagging because they smelled my speed stick or something like that, would I go like, okay, you may be, sorry, I'm the asshole for wearing some deodorant. Yeah, but in this situation, I don't disagree with it, for sure. I mean, I don't disbelieve it, I guess I should say. Everyone who's voting that I'm the asshole seems to think I forced this girl to take off her clothes. There is no part of me that enjoyed asking my brother to give up his clothes to get in my car. I had no smile on my face, and I apologized to them for being so sensitive to smell. I pushed for the Uber. I even offered to cover most of it. They didn't want to get in an Uber when they were in that condition. I was embarrassed to ask them to strip, but there was not a way for me to make it an hour with them in the car in those clothes. I did not tell them to get naked. I told them to put their clothes in a bag. There's a difference. I didn't say get naked. I said, put your clothes in the trash bag. If you could put your stinky clothes in the trash bag without taking them off, by all means. Otherwise, I don't see like I'm the asshole here. They went behind the car. I had my back to them and was keeping my distance. My brother handed me the bags and I tied them up and threw them in the trunk without inspecting them. At first, I thought she inspected them, and I was like, she's the asshole. Now that I know she didn't inspect them, I'm inclined to think that maybe she was in the right. The blankets were a good size, so all you could really see is they were both barefoot and had removed their shirts and pants. I do not know if they left their underwear on or were naked under there. Any intimate bits were covered. We don't need to go into all that kind of stuff. Knowing all the context, I would be inclined to agree with the flare, I think, and say that everybody sucks here. But can I offer something here? The sister who is the OP, her absurd behavior in this whole situation is predicated upon being called at 2 a.m., roused from sleep potentially, at least called outside of the normal hours that we would consider decorum, acceptable to call someone at, asked for them to drive 40 minutes out of their way and then an hour to their parents' house because the brother and his girlfriend didn't adhere to a plan to handle their own transportation. That immediately puts them on the moral high ground from my situation. Is OP a little out of line. Yeah. My 2 cents is that she should have just said, she shouldn't have even given them the money, to be honest, in my opinion. But she should have just said, I'm not gonna do it, take an Uber, if she's so sensitive to any kind of smell like this that she would throw up if she was interacting with them for more than an hour. So I think this doesn't make her the asshole, but I don't think she should have even enabled them by going out to their apartment in the first place. I think she should have just been like, I'm not coming, either call mom or take an Uber. And I'll tell you as well, your brother is going to learn a very serious lesson. If he calls you, you're his sister, and you say, no, wake up our mom at 2 a.m. to come pick you up while you're stinky, that's probably the last time that the brother is going to do that. I think that next time he'll make sure he takes the bus home, because that's going to be an embarrassing and shameful drive. That being said, this post should be called Am I the Weirdo? I mean, that's kind of where I'm at, is like when she's like, I made them, well, not made them. I told them if they want to drive home with me, you can take off your clothes, put them in a garbage bag, and wrap yourself up in some blankets. I'm like, well, you're within your right to do it if that's what's required to get home without having you throw up. But at the same time, you should never ask anybody to ever do that. The suggestion that you had to have them strip off their clothes and then drive home naked with blankets on is... It's not criminal, I think, but it's very bizarre. No wonder, by the way, like the brother is probably like, this is nothing I haven't seen before. I grew up with this. But the brother's girlfriend, I mean, I would be furious, I think. I also might be like, Chad, can we just take an Uber? You know, like this is crazy. But can I also tell you that I think I would have a great sense of humor about it? In my 20s, at least, I think I would have a sense of humor about it. Hello. Okay, enjoy your walk. Like, I think if my friend's sister came and picked us up and she was like, you have to take off your clothes and strip down into this blanket, I would be like, whoa, comfy ride. Comfy ride home. Plus, Ubers did not exist when I was in this phase of my life, and the taxi probably would have been like $300. So, OP made an update. Okay, how does one find an update? I'm 100 years old. Is there an easy way to do that? Click. Okay, I'll just click on their username. I just don't want to see their other posts because I'm sure they're all on r/Rick and Morty. Okay, give me a second. Update! This is from 21 days ago. Oh my god, it's so freaking long, dude. Okay. Update day. Of course it is. Before I read it, I feel like all the updates are like, I got out of my head and we started talking about it and we're friends again. Like every update post, it's never like, and then she went to prison. It's always like, we had a conversation and, you know, worked it out. So my brother's girlfriend texted me that she wanted to meet up and drop the blanket off. When I dropped them off, I grabbed the bags out of my trunk and handed them to them. I did not ask for the blankets back, as I did not. She's so paranoid about, like, I didn't see my brother's, you know what? I did not see my brother's, you know what? A lot of people are suggesting I did this just to catch a glance at my brother's, you know what? I did not. She came over to my apartment. I joked if she had the undress to come inside and handed me back my blanket. She said it was very soft and comfortable and apologized for not giving it back that night. She actually washed it in unscented detergent. Wow, hey. She thanked me for coming to get them the other night, apologized for freaking out, and explained a few things. My brother had told her the trains ran all night. He wanted to stay with these friends of his and she couldn't stand the smell in there. It's a common theme. It is stinky everywhere. She had called several friends, none of whom were willing to come and get her at 2 a.m. He claimed our mother didn't keep her phone on, which is why he called me. He kept insisting I'd never let them in her car and they should just stay there. I think he called me just so I would refuse and they could stay there. She's the one that suggested they shower so it wouldn't be as bad for me. Okay. Since my brother lives with our parents, she thinks he wanted some alone time with her since they never get to spend overnights together. She didn't even realize that I suggested they strip. When I handed her the blanket and the bag, I didn't hear my brother say, let's just stay here. She thought I was giving her a blanket to sleep, and that's when she stormed off. When she was walking away, she took all of us off Facebook because she was done with my brother. She added me back. When he caught up, hold on. When he caught up, he suggested again they just stay there. He told her that I told her. He told her that I told her the only way they could ride was if they stripped off their clothes and went home in blankets. She told them, I feel gross. I want my bed. I don't even care at this point. Let's just go. When they came back, he suggested the windows rolled down. Why is it? It's so, like, it's like reading an encyclopedia. When I refused, she started undressing, so he went along with it. As for why they didn't call an Uber, he didn't want to. And she didn't want to ride in one alone drunk for an hour. Miraculously, she's not done with my brother. She's pissed at him for lying to her and stranding her without a ride back, but she's going over there to talk. She loves that butthead, as she put it. She's made me a lot more focused. She's made him a lot more focused, and she's been good for him, so I'm happy they're sticking with each other for now. I feel a lot better after talking to him. I really did think that they might be dating at the end of this. When they said that she had, she washed it in scentless detergent, I was like, I don't believe this anymore. Anyway, we'll do a few more before we pivot here. I believe this. Again, I think it's one of those things that's like, if you wanted to lie on Reddit, I don't think you would lie to be like, guess what? Check this out. I can't smell anything or I throw up. That's that's how busted my olfactory system is. It's a weird anti-flex. Anyway, seems like it all got sorted out in the end. Am I the asshole for wearing compression shorts to the gym? I gotta know. I don't even understand. Am I the asshole for wearing compression shorts to the gym? I recently moved to a new city and joined a local gym. I always worked out at my apartment gym, but this new apartment does not have one, so I joined a local chain gym. When I work out, I usually wear compression shorts and a t-shirt, mostly because I find them most comfortable for the types of exercises that I do. So the way I understand it, compression shorts are like very tight, like Lycra almost. You wear it's like Under Armour spandex. Like you wear them for the same reason that you wear like a compression sock or something like that. I think it's for like increased blood flow or something. But usually you wear them as like an underlayer, not as your outerwear. But anyway, just to give you some context if you're not sure what a compression short is. However, a couple weeks after joining, I had a woman come up to me and tell me I needed to put pants on. This wasn't a gym staff, just another member. I asked her if there was any rule or dress code that specified that. She said she didn't know, but I was exposing myself, which is inappropriate. And then I can already hear, like, so I took that personally. For the record, my compression shorts are not translucent or any... Oh, really? Your compression shorts are not translucent. That's good. That you're not buying translucent clothing to wear to the gym. They're a gray heather or black fabric. Hold on. Okay. So just so many, every word changes the dynamic here. I pictured them as being black, and I was like, you know, I'm sure they're short. I'm sure they're tight, but at least they're dark. Now he's saying they're gray heather, and I'm like, maybe I'm a prude. That's a little bit more obscene. That is gray heather is an underwear color, especially in compression shorts parlance. I'm like, at least with like black compression shorts, I could be like, maybe they're just short, but anyway. What she is referring to, though, is the bulge, which obviously is visible when wearing compression shorts. I told her I don't believe there's any issue with my shorts and put my headphones back in. A couple of weeks later, I had a different woman come up. What are the odds? 2 people with the exact wrong opinion. Wow, crazy, man. I had a different woman come up and do something similar. She said, "Are you gonna put pants on, dude?" To which I told her I was wearing shorts. The gym itself hasn't talked to me about this. As far as I'm aware, it's not that unusual to wear compression shorts. Nor do I see how they're different from leggings, which are very common. I can understand how the visible bulge may make some people uncomfortable, but how hard is it to just not look at it? Wow. You're definitely the asshole. And I'm gonna say something else, okay? My hunch is that your dick is not as big as you think it is. I think you're wearing tight compression shorts. I think this guy's getting a little thrill. I think when women come up to him, he's like, in his head, he's like, oh, another woman threatened by my unbelievably huge bulge. I think that he is trying to, I think he's getting a rise out of this based on the way that he wrote this. I think he's a little freak. Hold on, we gotta load up the comments for this. Give me a second here. I'm looking at the shorts. One moment, please. I have to be honest. These are longer than I thought they were. I know the screen region's a little screwed up. They're longer than I thought they were, but they are much tighter than I thought they were. Like it seems like they go to maybe just the top of the knee, but they seem very tight. What is this? Why is he vibrating? What happened to his hands? What's going on, man? He's moving so fast they couldn't catch him. Can I be honest? This changes my opinion somewhat. I still think OP is kind of a weirdo, but that doesn't seem that bad. I in my head I was picturing shorter, like I was picturing like not briefs but like boxer briefs. Oh, click play, it's a video. I see. And I'm sure the gray is worse. The way that he's reacted to the comments, like here's my thinking, okay? It's one of those things where you're like, if one person comes up to you and is like, your outfit's inappropriate for the gym, I think you could be like, you know, take one of these and call me in the morning and give him a middle finger emoji. If 2 people come up to you in like a week and they're like, hey, your outfit's making us uncomfortable, I think you should, you know, maybe consider wearing pants to the gym instead. That's my thoughts on that. Or, you know, I mean, it depends. I mean, the other thing is you could just keep working out at the gym and deal with the fact that, you know, once every 2 weeks, someone's going to come up to you and be like, hey, you're wearing your underwear in the gym. But all it takes is a loose pair of athletic shorts on top. That's what I'm saying. What if we did that with women? I mean, you can't just use that as an argument. It's like, yeah, I mean, there are double standards. Is, you know, a situation where you got to look at society, right? Like this, the whole segment that we're doing here is like a deconstruction of proper behavior in public. You know, if you get to the point where you're like, well, what if a woman was wearing compression shorts? Well, like you examine that through the lens. I can't do it without having context. I feel like if a woman got asked by 2 guys to like, hey, could you maybe not wear compression shorts to the gym and instead wear something a little bit less revealing? It does carry the context of like, maybe these guys are creeps. But I think it also carries the context of like, if she made the post that was like, why can't these guys stop looking at my like, you know, my incredible assets, then I would be like, she's a weirdo too. If she had the same kind of energy that this guy had, where she was like, I can't help it if my awesome package is getting this much attention, you know, I would be like, okay, she's also she's getting the same kind of thrills that the guy's getting. This reminds me, actually, Kate and I were going for a walk yesterday. We saw probably like a 70-year-old man. And he had like an old-timey pair of binoculars. And we were like, what is this guy doing? Like bird watching or something like that? He was not bird watching. He was looking at joggers and sunbathers and et cetera, and just not touching himself, but just looking, which is also weird, obviously. But and you gotta be careful with what you're saying. In a way, it was almost like weirder. Because if he was engaging in an act of self-love, I think I would be like, he's just, you know, out of his mind. But him just kind of like passively taking it all in, I was like, is he storing this data for later, or like what's going on? It's just anyway, sorry. He's the asshole in this situation. That being said, I will say, having, you know, gone to the gym many times, look, it really, so much of these posts is really just like, are you willing to change literally anything about your behavior in order to smooth over a situation, even if you think you're in the right? You know what I mean? Like when I'm at home, I'll work out in my underwear. I don't care. You know, if I go to the gym, is it comfortable or is it unacceptable to work out in like boxer briefs? Probably. Is it also, you know, could you put on shorts that are shorter than boxer briefs and they would consider it to be probably fine? You would be like, yeah, I suppose. But, you know, you gotta, I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna wear really tight compression shorts to the gym, you might have to deal with people on occasion being like, hey, you know, I can see your bulge. I guess. And you could either put shorts on over top of that, or alternatively, you could be like, thank you so much. That's where I'm at. I don't know if he's an asshole. I do think the way that he wrote it was a little strange. Am I the asshole for giving my friend the wrong answers in an examination resulting in her failing? Throwaway, because my main has lots of personal info, and even though I don't care if my friend sees this, I don't want some person who thinks I'm the asshole, which I may be, to... Okay, yes, understood. My friend Lucy and I have known each other since middle school. From a young age, Lucy has developed a habit of asking me for answers to test papers or assignments, and I always gave them to her, but also made her understand the questions and answers. Yikes. Keep in mind, 17 and 18, these are kids. You know, it's off to a bad start, but they are just kids. Junior year, I told Lucy I would no longer help her cheat since our grades had an actual impact and consequence, and she always managed to convince me to help her, especially since we've been friends for so long. This is one of the reasons why I may be the asshole, by the way, since I helped her develop this habit of depending on me. Okay, well, like... I don't know what to say about that one. I feel like it's one of those things where, obviously, you're not the asshole for helping someone develop a habit of them being an asshole. However, I am like, simultaneously, I think that she knows that this doesn't make her an asshole and is putting it out there as a little pity breadcrumb, like Hansel and Gretel style. I think she's like, I might be an asshole for making them treat me like crap, you know? Anyway, that's just my cynicism coming up. She would always leave a few questions, and this basically ensured the teacher wouldn't find out she was cheating, because at the end of the examination, our marks would be different, so the teacher wouldn't have any reason to doubt us. I get A's, and she writes enough to get B's. This is our last year in school, and at the start of the semester, I told her that this time I would definitely not help her. For real this time, source dude, just trust me. I told her that enough was enough, and then if she got into a good college with the marks she got by cheating, that would not be fair to someone who worked hard. She said she understood, and that was that. In the first 2 major examinations, she got C's, and I guess her parents were not happy. Lucy then begged me to help her again and would constantly badger me every day by spamming my socials or when we meet up with friends. I told her I no longer wanted to talk to her, but she would just not let things go and even threatened to reveal some secrets I had trusted her with when we were younger. Oh my God. That's pretty bad. She's actually like, she's like Jim Carrey from The Cable Guy. So 2 weeks ago, when we had an examination, she asked me for answers. I gave her the wrong ones. She left some and somehow got marks for that, but her overall grade was F. We got the results yesterday. Until that moment, I thought I was justified in doing what I did to get her to stop harassing me. But when she got the results, she started sobbing, like full-on crying, and I felt so guilty. She later called me a lot of names and told me I crushed her dreams and I felt so bad, but I know I did what I did so that she would stop with the cheating. So I'm confused. Am I the asshole? Very, very classic situation where your friend is definitely the asshole. No question about that. There's not even anything to discuss because she's just, I mean, literally just cheating on all of her tests. And then on top of that, also threatening to blackmail you if you don't help her. Are you the asshole? I would, not because she cried and not because she got an F. You're an asshole. And if we define the situation as having one asshole, you're not the asshole. Your friend is the asshole. You could have refused. You could have been like, go ahead. Tell everybody I wet my pants until I was in the 8th grade. But can I tell you? I'm kind of like, you know what? I think she's not the asshole. I know that, so this has been voted as everyone sucks here. I'm inclined to say, at the very least, she's not an asshole for giving her the wrong answers. I think that's a little based. I'd say YB, you're based. However, I do think you're kind of the asshole for helping her cheat on tests for like literally what seems like, you know, 5 or 6 years. So there's a little bit of not the asshole, a little bit of you're the asshole, and a little bit of you're based. That's my assumption on this one. Definitely, though, even if you're in a wrong, you're not in the wrong. This is your friend is definitely the most in the wrong. But I mean, this is like the smoking one. I know that people don't believe me. I'm not trying to flex. I never cheated on a test. Middle school, high school, college. You just fill it out. And if you lose, then they're like, if you get a bad mark, then you get a bad mark. If anything, I always feel like it's kind of hard. Like, how do you, I don't even know how you cheat on a test in like high school. Like, is it like, psst? Or maybe like, I have to be honest, I don't think my eyes are good enough for me to look over at my friend's desk, see their paper, and see what answers they put down. I don't think I could do it. I don't think I have the glance technology built in on an ocular level. And if you go, psst, I think you would get caught, right? Like, I don't know. Different periods of the same class? I get that makes sense. But if you're in different periods of the same class, isn't that just studying? Isn't it just, if your friend had the test at 9 in the morning and you've got it at noon, and then you're like, hey, teach me the stuff. Like, isn't that just, I mean, you're studying the answers, admittedly, but at least you're learning. At least you're not just copying verbatim. Not quite. I don't know, man. I'm like, what's the point? What's the point of school if not to learn some answers? Like, is it supposed to be a test about, you know, studying exactly the right material, or is it supposed to be, do you know this thing? Based? One person said based, so I'm moving on. Oh, and we're moving on in general. Okay. That's the end of the Am I the Asshole cord this week, but I had a great time. Definitely think Am I the Asshole filtered is a good